So your title is always going to be this, okay? But there's a particular way that you need to lay out your opening sentence. And you need to say something along the lines of, the sequence I've chosen to analyze, and you would say, is from Toy Story in italics. And then in brackets, you put John Lasseter, comma, 1999. I think that's when it came out. Or 95, is it?
I think it was 95.
Okay, so that's the format. All right, so you need to change your first sentence to match that. Guys, shh. Yeah, okay, so you start with sound. Woody is always going to need a capital letter. Buzz always needs a capital letter. Okay, hang on a sec. Okay. So, I'm sorry, I'm just reading this. So, yeah. Well, I have to say, what I would do is, rather than breaking it down to sound and mise en scène, I really think it works better if you take each point and refer to anything that is relevant at that point, okay? Because it sort of becomes a bit uneven if you separate them out. So let's just have a look at the clip. I mean, you've said some good things, but maybe not in the right order, okay? So if we look at the sequence here, you could be saying something along the lines of, the scene begins with a medium shot of Woody lying on the road. And smoke is seen to rise, or smoke begins to rise from his hand, yeah? It then cuts to a close-up, yeah, of the hand. We can also see the shadow of Buzz's helmet. Can you see that there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? So you might want to say, remember what we're talking about is how the director creates meaning, and the director is here saying, look, this is his hand burning, and it has to do with, it's connected. It's connecting the two things together in our minds, okay? So that's the thing you need to analyze, yeah? And then you could say he cuts to another medium shot of Woody, and this time his eyes are looking up towards Buzz. So again, we realise that Woody, or the audience now realises that Woody has realised what's burning his hand. And then it cuts to this shot, okay, which makes it clear, makes clear what we're talking about. Okay, and at that moment, if you listen to the music, that bit where the music goes, okay?
Can I get headphones?
Sure. That little musical beat is, can you hear how it's sort of full of hope? Yeah? So you could say something about that. So the music at that point, say what it's for.
What are you doing?
And then we have this two shot.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's more like almost like a long shot, with both of them framed, and so we can see all the details of Buzz and the RC and the rocket. And then we go into a close-up with the light shining on the fuse of the rocket, kind of indicating to the audience what's about to happen.
Next.
A close-up. So there's a long shot of Woody jumping into the onto RC, and then we get a close-up of the fuse.
Stop! Andy! Wait a minute!
And then the music changes again to give this kind of hang on, what's happening here feeling. And now we've got the two shot of them together, and then the where he says, hang on, we're on a rocket and rockets explode.
Yeah.
Immediately that bit of dialogue introduces a kind of threat. And we think, oh, it's all fine. Oh, no, it's not. So the director's sort of playing with us saying, oh, you're okay, or no, you're not okay, as we identify with the characters.
That's just little rock. Rockets explode!
Okay, and then you've got a very fast edit there to emphasize the speed. So we have the rocket going off.
Yeah.
Cuts to that. And cuts to this great shot where the rocket is in the center of the frame, and we see Woody's face being kind of pulled back by the wind, and that emphasizes the speed at which they're traveling. And we also get this point of view shot. So now cross cuts between looking at his face going like this and the point of view shot, him looking through the traffic shot.
And you also say that the music is also emphasizing.
Yeah, good. So at this point, yeah, we're also, you've got the pace, the tempo of the music has picked up, and it's kind of, it's slightly dangerous, but it's also quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we cut to the other toys in the removal van, and we see, what's his name? Specs? No. Lenny. Yeah. We get this shot that sort of just tells us it's a point of view shot because we're seeing it through this kind of binocular effect, and they're in the distance. They're very small in the frame, but we see them coming closer and closer. As RC begins to rise off the roadway, get a close-up of Woody's hand. Why do you think they use that?
Like he's gonna let go. Or...
Yeah, and I think also making it look like, oh, is he going to make it? Is he going to hang on to it? So it's just like introducing a kind of idea of doubt and worry. Like, so again, to give us the feeling, or give the audience the feeling, I think that it's all a bit, things could go wrong again. Yeah. And a series of cuts. I mean, you just talk about that. You know, it's for comic effect, isn't it? We know Mr. Potato Head is very grumpy and bad things happen to him. And then we get this high angle shot looking down, which emphasises this.
How high up they are.
Exactly. And again, this sense of peril for the audience, particularly an audience of children.
Yes. You're flying! This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
Okay, and then sound is very important there because it's triumphant music, and also when he says I'm falling with style, it refers back to earlier in the film. Remember in the bedroom at the very beginning? So that's kind of satisfying for us as the audience as well. Sorry, and then Woody quotes Buzz. So again, it sort of makes their to infinity and beyond. He's not said it before, so it's kind of showing that their friendship is coming together. And then we have this again, another high angle shot, but we can see them in it and they're flying, so it's not so worrying.
Truck! We're not aiming for the truck!
Okay. And then we go inside the car as they fly. We glide with them as they drop inside the car. We see them drop into so there's a medium shot of Andy and Andy's reaction. And that cuts to